So today we'll be covering the Golf Connect system and all aspects relating to how it interfaces with MiClub and One Golf software. So we'll be covering kind of three main topics, which will be golf IDs and handicaps, course data management, and also score uploads for competitions. And we understand since the changes, there's been a lot of disruption to everyone's daily operations, and it's also affected a lot of our software, and we've had to make a lot of changes on the fly, which is something that we're constantly reviewing together with Golf Australia. So hopefully today we can clarify any open points you have, and there'll also be time for you to ask some questions. So we do have Mackenzie on the chat today, so feel free to send through any questions you have while the presentation is ongoing. And then there'll be a little bit of time at the end where I can clarify anything else that's still open. And the session will be recorded today. So all of these, the recording will be available on our website probably later this week. Okay, so we'll get started with the Golf ID management side of things. And just to cover briefly, when you're creating a new Golf ID for a member that hasn't held one previously, there is some essential information that you have to enter into the member's profile. So that's all highlighted here: name, date of birth, gender and postcode, and of course, email address. And you will notice that there is no club ID prefix anymore. So when a new number is assigned to a member, it starts with this 8000 series here. And anyone who previously had a Golf ID under the Golf Link system will retain that number even when they change clubs, but anyone new now will be allocated this generic number here. And important when you are setting the number that you see this green tick here with home member. That means that the profile has been created in Golf Connect and it's correctly linked to the member's profile. And now when you have the situation where you've got a member joining from another club who already has a Golf ID from a previous club with a handicap, you can link that to the member profile in your system by using the set secondary member option. So ignore that it says secondary member. Even if you're wanting to assign them as a home member, you still use this option, because what the system is doing in the background is checking if they're still active at their home club or if they're resigned. So in this case, where the member has resigned at their previous club, it'll automatically assign them as a home member in your system. And if they're still active at their original club, the system will assign them as an away member. Now, it is important that you see that green tick. If you ever encounter the situation where you've entered the number from the previous club and you see this screen here with no green tick, it means the connection to Golf Connect wasn't successful. So generally, if you click Edit Golf ID Details, clear the number, and then you set secondary member again, it should then link it up correctly. Some other common errors you might come across is where you get this red cross in the Golf ID not in database error. If it shows you an option to delete the visitor profile, you can do that. It just means that player has previously played at your club as a visitor and the Golf ID is linked to that profile. Just be aware though, if you do click delete visitor and they've got a booking in your timesheet, it will remove the booking. So maybe just check on that before you go ahead with that. Another common one is when you get this message that there's a member detail not matching. And this goes back to the creation of the Golf ID. Our system is checking in Golf Australia all of the essential information for the member. And if anything's not matching, it will give you that error. So in this case, you can either reach out to us or GA directly, and we'll be able to help you with that. And if you do have the case where the member is still active at their previous club, but they're wanting your club to be the new home club, unfortunately, you can't change that directly in our system anymore. You have to go through to the Golf Connect system. I've got some screenshots here which are taken from this link here, which is a help article on Golf Australia's website. And it just shows you how to request a change. It gets sent to the current home club once they've approved it in Golf Connect. it will automatically switch them in your system to a home member. Another fairly common one you'll see is where you've got a lapsed handicap status for a member. So it's generally indicating an unfinancial account. So always, if you see this, just make sure that the member is financial and they're showing as financial in your system, and that they are in the correct member category that has playing rights enabled. Now, if all of that is true and it's still showing lapsed, sometimes it's just a connection error in the system. You can try resetting this yourself. Firstly, clear the Golf ID, use set secondary member again, and this will often fix it. Alternatively, you can make their profile inactive, reactivate it, and that will often trigger it to connect, to establish the connection again. If that doesn't work though, please reach out to the MiClub support team and we'll be able to assist. And you might see one where the Golf ID is highlighted in red here. So generally that means that number is completely removed from the Golf Connect database. It could be that it's an old number that's not active anymore. Also, if you enter an incorrect number or a number with too many digits and you override the failed checks, it'll attach the number, but it won't actually link, which is why it's in red there. And probably the other one that comes up occasionally is when a member has a duplicate Golf ID. So they've actually got two Golf ID numbers. So when you're entering the number from the previous club and you don't get any error messages, the system gives you all green ticks, then on the member's profile, you notice that there's actually a different number linked to the profile. So that means there's a duplicate there, and you won't be able to fix that yourself. You'll have to reach out to us or Golf Australia, and then we'll help to delete the duplicate number for you. So it pretty much covers all the Golf ID. And oh no, sorry, I forgot about handicap allocation. So when you're allocating the new handicap via ad hoc scores, you will notice that it stays pending on the member's record in Golf Connect until the next day. So on the day that you submit the final card, overnight is when the system generates the handicap. And if you check the next morning, you'll see that they get their handicap allocated. And the option that was removed, which was there previously, was the adjust handicap option. So unfortunately, you can no longer directly alter a handicap in our system anymore. I think the only way to do it is to reach out to GA and just explain the situation that you've got a member whose form has changed or they have an injury, and they'll be able to assist. So now we'll move to the course data. And the important aspect here is that you have an active course in the Golf Connect system. So when you're in your course data in Golf Connect, you'll see you've got a list of all of your active T blocks. So if the T block is not listed there, it means we can't import it into our system. And to add new T blocks, I believe you need to contact either Golf Australia directly or your state body, who will be able to help you with that step. Once they've added it though, you can then go through and select it in the list, and underneath will show you all of the data for that course. So the overall slope, scratch and par rating are fixed by the regulator or state body, so you can't directly alter any of that. You have to contact them if you think there's a mistake. But all the other data, like the whole order, the index, and the individual pars and distances, you can manually update. And as we have to import the course exactly as it is in the Golf Connect system, this is crucial that you are checking here and ensuring that it's all up to date. And the third aspect is you'll see that there's an effective date in the course list, and we can only import into our system from that effective date. So sometimes when the state body sets up the course for you, they may set the effective date to, let's say, next week when you actually are first planning to use the course. But if you need us to import it beforehand so that you can check the data and make sure you're all happy with it, you need to just go in there and manually adjust it, so that way we can run the import. Now, some of you have noticed this screen before where it gives you a message on the competition page that you need to run an update. If you are familiar with this part of the system and you worked out how to import courses, feel free to do that yourself. If you're unsure, and look, in most cases, I would recommend that you reach out to the MiClub support team and we can do this step for you, and then we can clear the the message there so you're not seeing it. Once the course has been imported, you will see here that there's a column called DG, and you want to have green ticks in all of those T markers. That just means that the course is correctly linked to Golf Connect and that you can handicap a comp played on that course. Now, the T marker field is what we used to use previously to link up a course to Golf Connect. In the new system, we're not using it. We're connecting the course in the back end of the system. But if you like to have the T marker number there so that you can reference it internally, just make sure you mention that to us when we're doing the import, and we can manually add it for you. Now, the whole order, as I said, you can modify the whole order in Golf Connect. But let's say it's your 1 to 18 course, but every now and then you want to start the players on a different whole number. You can do that in the timesheet setting. So under timesheet in the configure event manage groups area, you can define here the whole order that will affect how the players start in their MyScore app. Now, it won't affect printed scorecards, but only the MyScore app starting hole. If you do need to change the order for a printed card, important is that once you've used a course in our system for a competition, that whole order is fixed. And even if you change it in Golf Connect, we can't change it for that particular course in our system. So if you need to do that, we can re-import the course under a new name. And that will allow you then to select that second course with the whole order that you need. And then final point on the course data, there is the reporting option, which will run the whole index report for all of your T markers. Now, since the Golf Connect change, we re-imported all of the course data fresh from Golf Connect, which means you're only getting data from around September, October 2025 onwards. If you need any historical data, it is still in the back end of the system. You just have to reach out to us and we can go back in there and have a look for you. And we'll finish on score uploads. So one major change from the previous GolfLink system is when you flag a competition as a Golf Australia competition in the settings, this sets a trigger in the system to automatically send all scores to Golf Connect. And that means when a player submits the score in MyScore, or they scan a card in the card scanner, or manually type in their score at the kiosk, that score goes directly to Golf Australia. The players see it on their handicap record here with the little hourglass symbol. So that means the score is there, but it's not contributing to their handicap yet. It only contributes to the handicap once you've approved it. But this is a common issue where you set up a competition and you intended it to be a non-handicapped, but you set it as yes initially. That's still going to send scores and they're going to appear on the players' records with the hourglass, even if you change it to no while the comp is in progress. So if that happens, just reach out to us. We can delete or we can remove all of those scores from Golf Connect for you. And in terms of the upload, once you get to the upload screen, you'll see there's a section here which would have the bulk of the scores, and it should say score sent to Golf Connect, ready for batch approval. So these are the scores that are in there with the pending hourglass, waiting for you to approve them. Once you hit approve, the system goes through the process of finalizing the score, and that's when it contributes to the player's handicap. And our system triggers this with a PCC results symbol here on the competition page. Now, we have had some feedback that this can be slightly misleading because you see the green tick, you think all the scores are good, but then you find out later that there's a few players who haven't been handicapped. So we are working with Golf Connect to fix this. We are reviewing every week with all of these score uploads that you report to us that are not going through 100%. And we believe we can resolve it over time. For now, we would still recommend that you're double checking. So if you click on the PCC results after the scores have been approved, it'll then take you to the line-by-line display for all of the players. So I've got an example here of what we would consider a good score upload. So what you're looking for firstly is the sent column. Anyone that's submitted a normal score should be yes. And the no's should generally be no score not approved or no score approves. And you also want to be looking at the old and new GA handicap fields. Both of those columns should be populated with data. And I have some examples here of what it looks like when it hasn't gone through correctly. So this is an example where we've got a no for this player, but it's not a no score approved, it's a normal score. And you can see also that the handicap fields haven't populated. So that indicates that his score hasn't been sent through. Now, when you do get a no, you do have the opportunity to try and correct it yourself. You can go back to the score upload page, and on the upload page, the scores at the top will be shown here in the score sent to Golf Connect. And right at the bottom underneath, there's an area called scores not submitted to Golf Connect. So these are the ones that weren't sent through. You can check there because it will show you a reason why the score didn't get transferred through. So in this particular case, the member's resigned. So his golf status is inactive, which is why it couldn't send the score through. So in this type of case, you can try and correct that yourself. If you're getting any reason that doesn't make sense to you, best just to reach out to us and we can have a look at that for you. Now you can have also the other situation where it does say that the score was sent, but you will notice there's no handicap in the filled out in the new handicap column. So that suggests again that the score hasn't gone through. If you were to check on the player's handicap history in Golf Connect, you'll see that there's nothing there. Now you can try to reverse the upload and then put it through again in our system, but what you'll find is it'll just send through the same results. The players that weren't handicapped the first time around also won't be handicapped again. There's another step that we have to do in the back end, so we advise you to reach out to us and then we can take care of that for you. So that pretty much covers all of the main content that we had. I'm just going to check now for any questions. So a question from Matthew: has a cause been identified that results in some scores not being sent in the score upload? No, we don't believe it's caused by anything that the member is doing. It's just like the best way we can describe it is it's a communication error between our system and Golf Connect. So best thing is just to reach out to us. We check the logs in the back end and we review it together with the Golf Australia team. So as I said, hopefully it's something we can resolve over time, but there's nothing really that you're doing from your side to influence that. Question from Darren: if there is a club that doesn't use MyScore but are loaded with a social, how can amendments be made to the holes indexes? Okay, I think Darren, you're asking if you've got a course that's a non-handicapped course and it's showing the wrong data in the MyScore app. In that case, just contact us directly and we can manually adjust the data in our system for any course that's non-handicapped. If you need to adjust a course that's for handicapping, has to be done in Golf Connect. But if it's for social scoring only, we control that data and we can make any adjustments you need. Okay, next question is from Paul. Are we able to submit an alternative Ambrose calculation and have it added to the competition list? I think that question, Paul, is maybe a bit out of the scope of today's competition. Today's discussion. Maybe if you could send that one through by email, please. I've been adding members to MiClub, but I don't know how to get onto Golf Connect. So I don't know if you saw the start of the presentation, Heather, where we covered all of these steps in order to get the Golf ID correctly linked to the member's profile. If you maybe have an example of one that's not working and you were to send it through to us, then I can check that for you, or our support team can check that one for you. We also, if you have any feedback on what's good about the new system or the things that are working, we tend to focus more on what's not working and what's causing headaches. But if there is anything that is better or is good, we'd also like to hear about it and give us a bit of confidence that some aspects are working as intended. Yeah, as we mentioned, Darren, if it's not for handicapping, then we can sort that out for you. Just send us what needs to be updated. It's only the handicapped course data that must be in Golf Connect. Paul, yes, you can alter hole indexes in Golf Connect. You just you select the T marker, and then you go into the area where you have all of the course data, and then you can manually click on each hole and change the index to what you need. And once you've done that, if you notify us, we can then import the updated index into your system. And the question from ProShop, why does the result sheet no longer show the member number or golf ID number? Assume you're referring to the competition results page. I do believe the golf ID number should be working now. I think there was a period of time where it was displaying the old golf link column and it wasn't populating the numbers correctly. But I do believe we do have that working now. So I'm not sure which club, whoever is titled ProShop, I'm not sure which club you are from, but if you can reach out to us, support@miclub.com.au, and show us an example of the results sheet that's missing the golf ID number, I think we can resolve that one for you. Matt, when a temporary course is imported, is it automatically updated to the MyScore app? So if it's a competition, Matt, then yes, the player, if you set a competition up and you link it to the temp course, that's going to score in MyScore. If you're asking about social scoring in MyScore, that's slightly different. It's something that we can turn on. We can add any temp course to your MyScore social scoring. So if that is something you want and you notice that one of your temp courses is missing, just notify us and we can set that up for you. Cool. Thanks, Kaz. Thanks for the feedback. It's much appreciated. Yeah, we understand some of the frustrations and some of them are shared by us too. But as we said, we are in discussion every week with Golf Connect. Every issue you raise to us, we personally raise with them and we ask for their help to try and fix it. So I feel like there has been some improvement or a lot of improvement since the transition first happened, and we're just looking to continue that. So please keep notifying us as to what needs to be improved, what's not working, and yeah, we'll slowly fix these issues over time. Okay, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. As we mentioned, the webinar will be uploaded to our webinar section of our website possibly later this week, so keep your eyes out for that. If you have any more detailed questions, please send them through to support@myclub.com.au. There'll be another webinar, I think, next month or the month after. The topic will be posted on our website, but if you have any other ideas about training or information that you may need, also feel free to email them through. And thank you for attending and have a good day. We'll see you next time.